Cancer is a disease that has ravaged mankind for thousands of years. Despite quantum advancements in medical science, this condition continues to defy man's very best efforts. It is known to be so vast, obtrusive, elusive, and to underscore just how formidable this multi-pronged attacks against humanity has been over millennia. Researchers and medical scientists are now ascribing cancer with the human qualities of intelligence and reasoning. That is why, at certain points of development, cancer is described as benign, and when it degenerates and takes control of the human body, it becomes malignant.
Yes. At the moment, there exist various forms of cancer which scientists say could be a byproduct of countless periods of mutation. No part of the human body is safe from infection, ranging from our brains to our mouths to our skin, and the variant that could be said to have inflicted the most devastating pain on humans, the breast cancer. As man struggles to get a hold of this scourge, he continues to spawn methods after approaches after regimens, all to very little effect.
We will pause at this point to take a look at a special report on cancer put together by our producer, Ikenna Kingsley.
If there is one disease that has ravaged the earth more than any other, cancer will top the list. Cancer, the leading cause of death worldwide, accounts for nearly 10 million deaths yearly. According to estimates from International Agency for Research on Cancer, in 2018, there were 17 million new cancer cases and 9.5 million cancer deaths worldwide. By 2040, the global burden is expected to grow to 27.5 million new cancer cases and 16.3 million cancer deaths simply due to the growth and aging of the population. With the burden growing in almost every country, preventing cancer is a significant public health challenge, as around 40% of cancer cases could be prevented by tackling risk factors relating to diet, nutrition, and physical activity. The most common type of cancer that tops the list of the most deadliest is breast cancer. It became the most common cancer worldwide, surpassing lung cancer for the first time in 2020. That year, more than 2.3 million women were diagnosed with breast cancer worldwide, and 685,000 of them died. Every 14 seconds, somewhere in the world, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer. In a global effort to raise awareness about breast cancer, October was designated as Pink Month back in 1985 to raise awareness about the disease. This was a partnership between American Cancer Society and the Pharmaceutical Division of Imperial Chemical Industries to promote mammograms as the most effective tool to fight breast cancer. The Pink Month is a month where efforts are recognized to educate those concerned about the disease, including early identification and signs and symptoms associated with breast cancer. Here in Nigeria, President of the Nigerian Cancer Society, Dr. Alhassan Umar, disclosed in 2021 that the federal government of Nigeria had budgeted the sum of 1 billion naira for cancer care in the country. That the organization was determined to monitor the implementation. Also last year, Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, said the federal government had approved additional hospitals for chemotherapy as part of Cancer Access Partnership Program aimed at a 50% cost deduction. As the federal government keeps doing all it can to end the scourge of cancer in Nigeria, what more can be done to further reduce the mortality rate in Nigeria and across Africa? Ikenna Kingsley, Arise News.
Now, this is
a big topic today.
It's a bit tough.
Well, I think we've all known people who have been through breast cancer.
I think every family knows somebody, or one person knows somebody. I know at least 3 or 4 people that have gone through this. And, you know, I know that the fight for survival is not just based on whether or not what your chances are physically. I also think mentally, emotionally, and physically, you have to be in a good place.
Absolutely.
Be able to fight better and fight stronger But then again, you hear of people who fought to the end. So at what point do you really, people it's just a mind-absorbing,
Right.
time-consuming, and physically demanding element.
It starts with preventative measures. Now, if you skip that part, you have to go to self-awareness, which is, self-detection. If you skip that part, there are 4 stages of cancer, and there are certain stages when you get to 3, 4, it becomes terminal. So I think we're going to really focus on the first 2 parts, how we can prevent and detect.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Absolutely. And we have Dr. KEMI with us today. KEMI ALEGI, welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Today's topic, we're discussing cancer and ways we can prevent cancer. Over the years, you've been an expert in this field. I think one of our second guests today, you actually have been seeing her extensively. We want to talk about how breast cancer today can actually be limited, how we can increase awareness across women in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me. October generally is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we try to create awareness, let people know what the risk factors are, let people know the essence of early detection, screening. I've lost 2 aunties to breast cancer. When I was in medical school, I thought I would become a cardiologist, something fanciful. But after losing 2 maternal aunties to breast cancer, I began to realize that we need a lot of people in the oncology space. And then my father was diagnosed with bladder cancer. So my father is a survivor, to the glory of God, bladder and prostate cancer. But today we're talking about breast cancer. And as you rightly said, early detection is key. There are 4 stages of cancer, and we would love to see people in stage 1 and 2. Yes, we can still treat you in stage 3, but it's better to come in stage 1 and 2. And the best way to get you in stage 1 and 2 is if you do regular screening and you do regular self-examination. So we expect that every woman should examine her breast once a month. And the best time to do that is just after your period. So just the day after your period, your breast is in the best position to be examined. And you basically just touch it, go in a clockwise or anti-clockwise fashion, whichever one suits you, both breasts.
So that's the detection.
But what does the knot feel like?
level.
I hear the knot is supposed to be quite hard.
Not necessarily.
So it can just be like a tiny, like
You
a
mentioned
ball.
like
or something.
Just be like a seed, like
a seed like
peanuts
granite, yeah,
or
so
a seed
you
of
But the
orange.
seed is hard. A granite is hard.
Sometimes it's not hard. It's just, once you feel, if you're used to touching your breast regularly, you would know what your normal breast feel like. Once you feel anything that is unusual, you should please come.
But can we touch on that preventive part? They've said, eat healthy, exercise, work out as many times a day, make sure your greens are included in your diet, live a stress-free life. But from your experience, there are some things that you can do to actually increase your lifespan and prevent breast cancer. What can you tell us that we've not heard from somewhere else?
Let me also add this to my question to her, because we're limited with time. What are the modifiables and the non-modifiables of breast cancer? Factors that you need to know that you can put in place to make you better handle this ailment.
Thank you very much. So, truth be told, we don't know exactly what causes breast cancer. It's a combination of external factors and genetic factors. So there are some modifiable risk factors, as the host has rightly said, which is exercising regularly, avoiding obesity by all means. So you need to exercise regularly,
That's a risk
eat
factor.
healthy food, vegetables and fruits. We keep saying anything that grows from the ground is healthy for us, but anything we've manufactured in plants, like of course our Indomie and co, are not exactly
The factory foods.
The factory foods should be sparingly. So your ice cream once in a while, your popcorn, fries once in a while, but your regular meals should be what? Your
greens, the fruits,
ugu, your cucumbers,
the
your
grains.
okra, greens. The colorful foods, your cauliflower, your garden egg, your eggplants, those are the things that we should eat regularly. Now, if you do all these, if you eat regularly, eat healthy food regularly and exercise regularly, you can reduce your risk by 30%. But there are still some things that is no one's fault and nobody knows why you would have it. I've seen a set of twins, identical twins, and we all know that identical twins have what? The same genetic makeup. And I've seen a situation where Taye has breast cancer and Kendi doesn't, and we can't explain why. So there's a genetic factor, yes, but there's also the environmental factor. So the things that we have no control over, once you're a woman, you're at risk of breast cancer, right? Even though men also have breast cancer. So
Yeah, that I found quite strange. How
Yes,
come?
1% of all breast cancer occurs in men. Yes, and we've had even boys, young boys, having breast cancer. So some of the other things that you could do, we encourage women to have their kids early. So if you have your kids before age 30, it protects you from breast cancer. And also having more children, although that's difficult in this age where all the women go to work and go to school. So having more children tends to protect you in the sense that while you're pregnant, the hormones of pregnancy protect the breasts. So that's the reason. And I saw a video yesterday where people said, oh, men should suck the breast to prevent breast cancer.
I saw that
Now, that's
video.
such a funny myth. It has nothing to do with breast cancer. So when a woman gives birth to a baby, those hormones of pregnancy can stay longer in the body if she's breastfeeding. So that is where breastfeeding protects the breast. It's for a woman who has had a baby. It's not by men sucking the breast. So please,
but what's the factor in saying that it's women under 20 that have 50% lower risks?
So breast cancer is most common in those above the age of 40. So in Nigeria, the median age is about 48.
For women who give birth before 20?
Women who give birth, well, we say before the age of 30 are at lower risks of having breast cancer because the progesterone hormone in pregnancy protects the breast. So the earlier you have your kids, the better for the breast.
Another thing that I have to ask, that they say breast cancer occurs in the left breast more than the right breast.
Yes.
And they also say that more black women die from it than white women. So that has been a question that has been in my mind, and I'm wondering, is it to do with our genes? What's the reason for this?
That second question is quite critical.
So, truth be told, statistics have shown that breast cancer, yes, is more common in the left breast, but we don't know why. Breast cancer is more aggressive in the black woman. It's not that it happens more in the black women, but when it does happen in black women, it's more aggressive. So our genetic makeup, I think, is the reason.
Could it be genetic or stress?
No,
it's standard of living or lower standard of living.
Even when you go to America, the black women in America have more aggressive disease than the Caucasians. It's the same thing for prostate cancer. It's more aggressive in the black man than the Caucasian. So, truth be told, we have more Caucasians with breast cancer than blacks. But the black women tend to die more because our disease is more aggressive, which is why we need to invest more in research.
But why is it more aggressive in the black woman?
We guess it's genetic. We guess it's genetic. So research is ongoing.
But they get the breast
collecting
cancer more.
Samples. No, Caucasians have it more.
Right.
Caucasian women have it more, but
they're able to maintain
But the black
it
women
more
die because
than the black
our disease is more
women.
aggressive.
I think there has to be some standard of living factors there.
We think it's genetic, actually. We think it's
So
genetic.
any more about the what's that thing called?
Modifiable risk
Non-modifiable factors that we need to know.
Okay, so some people have a family history of breast cancer.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do about that. Some people have a genetic mutation. I'm sure we all know Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
She's taken out her breasts and her ovaries because she had the BRCA mutation. So we're encouraging women these days to go for BRCA screening, especially if you have a family member, a sister, a mom, or a daughter who has had breast cancer. You should go for genetic screening. So the BRCA gene mutation is one of, there's so many genes involved in breast cancer. There's the PALP gene, there's the CHEK gene, but BRCA is the common one. And it accounts for about 10% of breast cancers. So if you have that mutation, then we'd encourage you, once you're done having children, to go for a prophylactic mastectomy or oophorectomy. Just take out the breast.
What's the earliest age that you can go for this BRCA testing?
At any age, once you have a family member. So we say, normally, women start screening from the age of 40 with the mammograms and the breast ultrasound. But if there's a family member who has been diagnosed with breast cancer, 10 years before the person was diagnosed, you must start screening. So if there's a 25-year-old woman in your family with breast cancer, then the women in that family start screening at 15.
Can the BRCA thing be found?
Yeah, it's just a blood test. Oh, yeah. It's a genetic thing, so it will be in the blood test.
She took out her
breast and her ovaries. Yes.
And
just as prevention. Yeah.
Was it that she had implants there before?
No, she never had implants.
Just
she did the BRCA testing
as
and
prevention.
As prevention, yes.
That's interesting.
So would you advise a family where the mother, because I know of a family where the mother died of cancer, one of the sisters died of cancer, she doesn't have cancer yet. Would you advise somebody like her, for instance, to do this BRCA test on herself and her daughter?
Yes.
And if they both find it, would you advise both of them to remove their breasts?
So,
because it can be replaced.
Yes, so they can have genetic screening. So you can have a wider range of genetic screening. Like I said, BRCA is not the only gene. It just seems to be the more common one. So you can have a broad genetic testing, or you can just do the BRCA for herself and her daughter. And then if they are BRCA positive, they'll undergo counseling. And if they agree, they could have prophylactic mastectomy.
Do you do the BRCA testing here
It's available in Nigeria, yes.
Okay. And most treatments are available here too?
All the treatment for breast
extensively?
cancer is available in Nigeria. There is no reason to go abroad. So at Marcel Ruth Cancer Center, we offer screening, mammograms and breast scan. We offer surgeries. We offer chemotherapy. We offer radiotherapy. So there is really no reason to go abroad as far as breast cancer is concerned.
And the government's 50% cost subsidy, that's in place and working?
It's in place in some government hospitals, not all. In some government hospitals, yes. So, but the good news is, these days we're having more survivors because people are becoming more aware of their health and people are generally embracing screening, embracing, a better
Healthy
lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And people are more open to going for medical checkup. Previously in Nigeria, we're so religious and everybody says, oh, it's not my portion, it's not my portion, it's not my portion. But for heaven's sake, somebody's going to have it. So why not screen? If you detect it early, you can be treated and you can survive. So this is 15 years now, my father has been a survivor. So cancer is not a death sentence.
Another question I want to ask, because from the package that we saw that the president donated 1 billion naira towards cancer. And also, the Minister of Health also said that 50% discount was going to be given to more hospitals. I can see you rolling your eyes. You haven't even made me laugh. So the question I want to ask is that this is what was announced on the package, that the Minister of Health also said that there will be 50% discount for any cancer patients in a lot of government hospitals. Now, I did an estimate and I found out that cancer treatments cost between 20 and 30 million naira. So, apart from the government, first and foremost, is the government playing a major role towards making this less expensive? Because not a lot of people can afford 20 or 30 million naira, not even 10 million naira.
Let's talk about
So,
the
are there
costs.
bodies that are put in place to assist to make the treatment of cancer cheaper for the victims?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, the government has invested a lot in procuring equipment for us in recent times. So we have brachytherapy machines in a couple of government hospitals, which we have an issue we didn't have. Patients were traveling to Ghana just to have brachytherapy.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, but now we have quite a number of machines that the government has provided. Yes, they can still do more. And now you have subsidy in some government hospitals. I think it's a program, so about 7 government hospitals have been rolled into that program. So gradually, I guess it will be extended to other hospitals. But like you said, the government cannot do it all. So we have non-governmental organizations that support breast cancer patients. We have a lot of NGOs whom we appeal to. When I worked in Luth, there were so many, you're right, there's so many people who can't even afford to do a blood count of 1,500 naira. And a lot of times, we doctors would have to contribute money to buy chemotherapy for the patients. So breast cancer is one of those cancers that you are happy to treat because the drugs are available, you can cure the patient, the chance of the patient surviving is there. So when you hear that someone cannot afford 10,000 naira for a course of chemotherapy, it's quite disheartening. So most times, we contribute money together and we buy the drugs.
When you say we, who contributes?
The NGOs.
The doctors sometimes.
Are you
yes.
serious?
And if you go to government hospitals, it's a normal thing. So when we now get to the more expensive drugs and we can't use our money, we appeal to the NGOs. And in the past, they have actually supported a lot of
So you said NGOs have been more
patients.
supportive
Of
than the
cancer
government
patients.
itself?
In terms of buying, you're putting me in the hot spot. So yes, government has done
Okay,
well.
what can the government do
Government
better?
has done well in buying equipment. But what government needs to do now is to encourage my colleagues to stay in the country. Right now, we're less than 80 oncologists in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
We're less than 80. On our platform, we are 87 radiation and clinical oncologists in
the
Nigeria.
whole of Nigeria?
Out of the 87, almost 20 are abroad.
Wow.
So the government needs to encourage us to stay in the
Out
country.
of 80-something, 20
So
are
like
abroad.
this
So they are not
building
here
thing is
anymore. So we are
affecting
reducing it
business.
to 60-something.
We need, yes, you can buy the equipment, but who is going to use the equipment? So we need to encourage people to stay in the country. So yes, government can buy equipment, they can encourage doctors to stay in the country. But in terms of drugs, I think the NGOs have done very well for patients. They've supported so many patients. Even individuals have supported our patients. Because when I was in Luth, there are individuals who come up and say, oh, you know, my mom died of breast cancer, so I want to sponsor a breast cancer patient's radiotherapy. Radiotherapy is not cheap anywhere in the world. If you go to America, you need about $128,000 for radiotherapy.
Wow.
But in Nigeria, it's about $2,000, which is not a lot of money for a middle-class person. But for the pepper seller on the road,
What about
the pepper seller on the road does not have $1 million naira for radiotherapy.
So what now happens in that case?
So in that case, we appeal to the religious bodies, the mosques and the churches, because the government has done their best in buying machines. Private individuals, Where I work, Marcel Ruth Cancer Center, we have bought a machine, but I mean, these machines are expensive, it's about $4 million. So you cannot charge below a certain amount to maintain the machines. Diesel has gone through the roof. And those machines, you must not have electricity go off on these machines because they're highly sensitive. So yes, well-meaning Nigerians are bringing these machines into the country, but patients will still have to pay. So please, our religious bodies, we are appealing. Our religious bodies, the mosques, the churches, the traditional rulers, please help the cancer patients in your midst.
I think everybody in general, not just rulers and traditional rulers, those who can afford to put your own, give your own widow's mite. Do you understand? And I mean, I want to believe that the government can still do more. We can't really continue to rely on just citizens and their generosity or philanthropy.
Government should start by actually using the facilities themselves
well,
here in Nigeria.
Like you said, government has bought the facilities.
We have the treatments and
oncologists that will stay in Nigeria to help fight this disease. We still boils down to the same brain drain issue that we've been talking about. So the government should address the pertinent problems that are making people travel abroad and bring them back in.
And there are many.
Do you understand? Because right now we're relying on sentiments and the kindness of fellow citizens. And it shouldn't be so. If we're in England or America, it was not about how nice the nation is. It's about how
But which is good to know that there are NGOs and doctors like you that actually, bring funds together to help people. We definitely admire that.
Thank you so much.
That's major kudos.
Dr. KEMI.
Lovely to meet you.
It's good that you took time out to come and join us. And, you are an oncologist in Marcel Ruth Center. So, and I know that you guys are doing a very good job. And we hope.
And now we're getting referrals. People are coming back from Dubai, India, England, America, and coming back home to take their treatment at home.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, because the facilities are here and they're available. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Bye.
So please remember to mammogram your breasts. It's October.
Yes.
And eat healthy.
And eat healthy.
Yes. And stay fit.